There is a silent ritual practiced in the dead of night, in the back of a taxi, or during a quiet minute in a busy day. It's the ritual of opening a messaging app, scrolling far back, and stopping at a conversation that ended months, maybe years ago. You are not looking for information, you are looking for a feeling. You rereads old messages from someone you once knew, maybe someone you once loved. Your eyes trace the words, the internal shorthand, the shared jokes, the moments of connection that are now perfectly preserved fossils. But then, you close the app. You don't type. You don't tap send. You are a ghost inhabiting your own digital archive. You consume the past, but you refuse to participate in the present. This isn't laziness. This is a complex psychological strategy. Today, we decode the ghost in the archive, why you rereads but never, ever replies. To understand this, we must look at the concept of controlled versus uncontrolled vulnerability. Rereading old messages is a safe space. The outcome is known. The affection, the anger, or the connection is frozen in time. You can revisit it without the risk of rejection, change, or new demands. Sign 1. The emotional blueprint. Psychologically, old conversations are blueprints of who we were and what we were capable of feeling. When you reread a text that made you feel safe or adored, you are trying to remind yourself of your own capacity for those emotions. You aren't reaching for them, you are reaching for the part of you that they activated. The message is just the key that unlocks your own emotional potential. Resending a message, however, would force you to test if that capacity still exists. Sign 2. The preservation of identity. The reason you rereads is because those messages preserve an identity you may have lost. They capture a version of you that was witty or in love or prioritized. To reply would be to introduce the you of today, perhaps tired, maybe different, perhaps guarded, to the perfect ghost of the past. Rereading maintains the perfection of the idea of the connection, while a new reply would risk exposing the messy reality of your present self. Sign 3. The closed-loop paradox. Every conversation is a story. Some conversations, especially with people we've lost touch with, have a closed loop. They ended. They have a period. To reread is to enjoy the complete story. To reply is to open the book again, to erase the period and make it a comma. For the person who rereads but never replies, the uncertainty of a comma is more terrifying than the finality of a period. Rereading is an act of completion. Replying is an act of creation, which requires an energy you may not have. Sign 4. Paralyzing over-responsibility. This is the cruel burden for the rereader. The reason you don't reply is often because you believe your reply must be perfect. You carry the entire future of that interaction. You think, if I reply, what if I give them false hope? What if it starts a fight? What if it's awkward? This leads to analysis paralysis. The sheer weight of potential outcomes means the safest move is to make no move at all. The very depth of your insight is what keeps you silent. So what do you do if you are a ghost in the archive? The solution is not to block everyone, it is to change your relationship to memory. First, you must realize that rereading is consumption, not connection. One is passive, the other is active. Recognize when you are simply feeding your own nostalgia and ask yourself what need is currently unmet in your present life. Second, learn the art of the clean break. Not every memory needs to be digitized and accessible at 2 a.m. Sometimes the best way to respect the past is to allow it to be the past, not an endlessly accessible menu of feelings. Third, understand that a perfect ghost is worse than a flawed human. If there is genuinely something left to say it with imperfect humanity, not with calculated perfection. A comma is not a threat, it's just the continuation of life. When you let go of the need to preserve a perfect memory, you free up the energy to create a real present. You stop visiting the museum and start living in the street. Your past is a foundation, not a sanctuary. It's meant to be built upon, not hiding inside.